Welcome to a hard rock edition of the Prog Report. My guest today is the guitarist and founder for a Canadian rock band called the Harem Scarem, long-running band, now in their 30th year, and they're releasing a brand new album called United on May 12th. Please to welcome Pete Lesperance.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm good. This is cool, I gotta tell you. I mean, I don't know if Prog Report and all that sort of gives it a different skew, mostly progressive rock and
right.
You know, Yes and all that kind of stuff, but
right.
I'm a huge fan of you guys. I have been for a really long time, so very excited to finally be able to talk to you and you know, talk about the music and the history of the band and all that kind of stuff. I looked it up and I can't believe it's been 30 years. Do you ever look at that and just go, where the hell did the time go?
Yeah, man, like all the time. It's a weird thing, but it's funny. It's been like such a giant chunk of our lives that me and Harry both, we joke about this all the time. We tend to relate our whole like time of life to what albums we were doing at the time.
Right.
We've done so many. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, man, when you look back on it, because we still feel, I think, for the most part, you know, kind of the same way we did when we started this whole thing. And yeah, it's been a long time. It's hard to believe sometimes.
So, I mean, 14th studio album, the new album United, comes out May 12th. I've been reading some reviews on the album. I mean, they've been pretty stellar. Have you followed up on that? I mean, people are calling it like your best album, and
I know, which is the first. That's a first. Like, that's really a first, because our best album, as far as I think everybody has been concerned up until now, has been Mood Swings, and that's the one that everybody wants us to do again every time, and we definitely didn't do that. So I'm actually super stoked that everybody seems to be enjoying the new stuff. I mean, yeah, it's, you never know, right? We've run the gamut, right, from when we changed the name and everybody hated us and thought we were idiots and couldn't believe what we did, and that we threw away the rock and we're doing power pop, and then we came back, like, you know, we've done just about everything we can do to fuck our own careers. You know what I mean? And somehow we've managed to survive it. And yeah, man, we're totally excited and jazzed to have people being as into it as they are on this one. So it's going to be interesting to see when it comes out and where, you know, how it all plays out, where everything ends up.
I mean, I think the main thing, I mean, it still sounds like a Harem Scarem album. There's a few twists and turns musically, I think, which is pretty cool to hear, but the production sounds just massive. What was different this time around? That it sounds like the best recorded album that I think you guys have done for some reason.
Yeah, I think 100% it is, and I would hope it is, because it was the most recent that we've done. Yeah, you know what? We're just so in the zone, I think, with recording and with, I mean, it's constant, right? I'm sitting here constantly. I'm in my studio. This is where I am 24 hours a day. Harry does the same thing. You know, his ears are super fine-tuned because he's been doing tons of mastering and all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's I just think hopefully we're just the best we've ever been at this, and hopefully every bit of it, I hope, you know.
I want to go back just a little bit and talk about some of the older albums. I mean, I think the first album I heard was maybe Voice of Reason, back when that came out, and that was, if I can go that far, almost the most progressive kind of metal album you guys did, right? I mean,
totally.
That wasn't received as well following Mood Swings. Was that how it kind of went down?
Yeah, that's when we started screwing up our career.
But that's a great album. I think it's still, isn't it sort of among a certain core of the fan base, one of their favorites?
I think so, yeah. I think the people that are more open to the more, I think it's quite specific, actually. A lot of the rock guys, they just don't like the modern shit. They don't want it to sound like Alice in Chains. They want it to sound like whatever, you know, something from the 80s. And frankly, we've never much cared what people thought, or, you know, I mean, obviously we want them to like it. I don't mean to be an asshole, but like we make music because we love music, right? Not to please a myriad of people that we've never met. It's amazing when they like it. And this is like the Mood Swings thing. I've said to a lot of people before, so you're not really a Harem Scarem fan. You're a Mood Swings fan.
Right.
And that's cool, man. I don't care if you like one song that I've ever written or none songs that I've ever, you know what I mean? It doesn't really faze us too much. Now, that being said, Voice of Reason is probably one of our favorite records that we've done.
Right.
I mean, I don't think we did it justice. I don't think that, I don't think it sounds as good as it should have, could have. I mean, literally up until a couple days ago, me and Harry are throwing around ideas for, you know, what could we re-record off that record? We could do Warming a Frozen Rose, or we could do like something big and epic and make it sound like the new stuff. You know what I mean? I think we used to bury the vocals. Like we did, seriously,
Yeah.
we just did. Like, I feel like we almost went out of our way to ruin shit sometimes.
Well, I think it's still cool that you guys play the title track live, right? That's been sort of there in all the live shows forever, which is great. Quickly, just the rubber period. Talk me through the decision at that point. That sort of seemed to make some sense to me as a fan. Like, okay, we want to try something different. We're not going to call it Harem Scarem. We're going to call it something else. Was that as simple as that?
Well, yes. The only thing that wasn't that simple was the motivation. And really the motivation was we had been in our heads, the music we were listening to, like, that was really when the door shut on the rock stuff. Like, for me, in a big way, you know what I mean? It was just like I was into power pop, I was into other shit, and we really just wanted to follow our muse. And not only did we want to follow our muse, we actually believed we could be successful in North America, which we have never even had a release in America at that point, right? Well, at any point, we've never had a release in the States, other than Frontiers now. But so we just wanted to follow that muse, and just like you said, we thought, okay, well, but it was almost like not just the music is different, so let's call it something different. It was literally, we need to fool everybody. Like they can't know it's Harem Scarem. When Sunshine rolled across, the radio programmers' desks in Canada, if that had said Harem Scarem on it, they never would have played it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And instead, we had a pretty decent sized top 40 single with that, and that was our 7th album. Right. 7 albums in, nobody knows it's Harem Scarem, and we actually wanted to prove to ourselves that we could compete in the modern world with modern music, and we kind of proved it. And then Warner was kind of done with us at that point because that was the end of our deal. I don't think they really wanted to continue it. We didn't continue it, so it was like, okay, yay, we had a nice single. Now you're done. So.
I've followed a lot of bands that are past sort of that peak period, Def Leppard, Winger, all those bands, and you hear songs that come on current albums, and you go, well, if this was labeled something, another band name on it, this would be on the radio. So you sort of, I get the logic behind it. And Bad Sunshine was a great song. I mean, I dug it.
Thanks. I mean, it's a pop song. If you're a Harem Scarem fan, though, I get why they were all just shaking their heads at that time, going, what are you guys doing? You can't blame them.
But so here in the States, and I don't know how it is in Canada when you guys were starting out with Mood Swings and having that initial success, but later on here, all those bands from that era got the label of hair band, and sort of became a difficult thing for them to overcome. Did you guys deal with that also, that label, or is that something that still sort of follows you guys, or is that not really a Canadian music?
Oh God,
thing?
Yeah, no, that totally has followed us our whole career, and right down to our horrific name. You know what I mean? Called the band Harem Scarem. There's a good idea. Like could you just make it any more plain? And we were a hair band in a way. Like, I mean, we had long hair, and our first album was definitely more pop oriented. It definitely lived more in the radio friendly Bon Jovi stuff than it did, say, like on the second record or on Voice of Reason, heaven forbid. I mean, it's all, we just, again, that's where we kind of veered off, and we just went, okay, we've done this now. It took us a long time. We wrote these songs. We got this album out. We're having some success. And we were naive in a way. Like, we just went, yeah, man, that was good. People liked it. Let's just do the next one. So we wrote Mood Swings, knew it was completely different, and knew it was taking a turn. But then the Nirvana thing came out and just But yes, so to answer your question, we didn't have long hair by like the third album. Right. And we've done 14, but people still think we're a hair band, because probably initially the kind of music we did in the very beginning, I could see that. They're pretty sappy love songs, a lot of them. And
it was that production, that heavy reverb drumming, right? That back then, that 80s production. I mean, you guys always had a little bit of Queen to me. Is that a band that you guys ever identified yourselves with?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The background vocals, how many layers, or is it just you and Harry doing it? How does?
Oh no, it's not me at all. I don't sing on the records anymore.
Oh really?
Yeah, no. The backup vocals are handled by Harry and Darren, and then guests. We have Jeff Scott Soto's on this record. Right. Pete Nudak is on this record. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, because I'm going to feel like an ass if I did. But we got to have a few guests. But for the most part, Harry and Darren go in and just start layering. And Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kip Winger told me once that some of the songs had like 100 layers of background vocals. Does it ever get that crazy?
I would say that's maybe reasonable in the end, you know, like
Yeah.
it'll start with when we're doing demos, maybe he'll throw on a few vocals and then that just builds from there. And then Darren comes over and then they do them together. So the thing is, usually when they're laying down a track, they're laying down both of their vocals at the same time. So each track has both of them. So you're basically getting two voices for every single time you double things and triple them, quad them. Yeah, it gets pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
What's the writing process now for you guys? Is it or has it changed from back in the day? Maybe you guys used to write together, and now you're writing, sending files, or how does it work now?
Yeah, well, that's pretty much exactly it. I mean, in the very beginning of Harem Scarem, on the first album, I mean, Harry had a bunch of the songs written. This was his project in the beginning. I came on as a guitar player, and it just quickly developed into our kind of sound, our thing. But so when we really started the first album, again, it's kind of confusing. We did some co-writing. It was a bit of a mismatch, I think, that one. But when we really honed in on the mood swings thing, what that really was is me focusing in on the musical stuff, coming up with hook riffs and intro lines, like the parts underneath the vocals, and then Harry working on the melodies for the choruses, writing the choruses, doing whatever. And we've kind of morphed through all kinds of different ways, like Big Bang Theory. I think we wrote that record, and maybe it sounds like it, but we wrote that record in 3 days, like 3 or 4 days, me and Harry sitting in a room, like not everything, but the seeds of the ideas. But now we are back to the original way we do things. So Harry has a bunch of melodic ideas. He's got some chorus ideas. He's got whatever. I've got a bunch of musical ideas. I start building up the tracks with, intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus kind of thing, and I send them all to Harry once there's something to hear, so he can get the gist of what I'm thinking, and he starts slamming together what he has with that. So we, by the time we get to that point, we'll get in the same room and sort of hash some things out, fill in whatever gaps are left. But yeah, we definitely write very separately.
The last album, you had a little break. You've been sort of, guys go on and off. Maybe we're broken up, maybe we're not, back together. Yeah. What was the decision to get back and do this one, and where's the band now moving forward?
Well, I mean, really, at the end of the Hope record, which I think was 2008 or something, it was just, I was out. Like, I was done. I didn't want to play rock guitar anymore. I didn't even like it. Like, I didn't the ideas. I didn't. It just wasn't fun, basically, is what it came down to. I loved playing, but man, rock is the last, like hard rock is the last thing I wanted to do, right. And then the Mood Swings thing came up. A friend of ours said, hey, you guys should reunite for the Mood Swings thing and do a show. And we were like, well, okay, we could do a show. And then the idea just developed, turned into Mood Swings. And then we were like, oh, that was kind of fun. We went out, did the tour thing. People still seemed to give a shit. We did like 9 or 10 shows in Europe, and it was fun. And so we were kind of energized a little bit by that, I think. And I actually started writing some of the parts for 13 when we were on the road. And it's cool because when you're out there and you're playing for people, you really get a sense of what's working for them. You know what I mean? Right. So you kind of feel a little more in touch with that. So I started coming up with a bunch of the riffs and stuff when we were out on the road for Mood Swings. So 13 happened. And after that, we kind of knew we were in again. People liked it. Our fan base, right? We're not trying to take over the world, right? We're just doing our thing. Harem Scarem gets our focus in a way, but it's only part of what we do. You know what I mean? It's our focus as far as our own whatever art or whatever you want to call it. Right. But we kind of knew then we were just going to keep going. We made this record. When we started this one, we didn't even know if we were going to finish it because it was like, let's do this. If the songs are good, if it's all flowing and feels good, we're going to keep making a record and we'll make it. And if it's not working out, we just won't do it. And we'll do it when we feel like it. If it's in 2 years, 5 years, or never again, it's, we really just kind of go with our gut that way. And
do you have a favorite album that's not Mood Swings from the long career? The one or a few songs that aren't the ones that the fans always go back to?
It's so hard, to judge your own stuff. I mean, really, what's a great song? A great song is a song that connects with people. So I've always kind of said my favorite songs are the fans' favorite songs for the most part. You know what I mean? And that generally kind of holds true. Everybody likes No Justice. Everybody likes Change Comes Around. I like those songs. They're okay. It's hard to. I don't love my own music. I don't love anything about my own music. It's the process. You know what I mean? That I love and creating and being part of that thing and playing guitar. And so to say which songs are your favorites, I do believe that this is our best album. I think I said that on the last one.
It's always hard. Yeah, like it's always hard to tell. But I mean, from the beginning, when you start listening to it, you're like, yeah, that song's great. That song's great. That song's great. Yeah, look, it's great. Great to have the band back. Awesome.
Thanks, man. Well, it's great to be back. We're really enjoying the work, and we're really enjoying interacting with the people that still like us. So it's
very
great.
Cool, man. All right. Well, listen. Give my regards to Harry and the rest of the band, and hopefully I get to see you guys live one day. Come to the States one day. So.
Oh, let's hope. Well, we're funny enough. We actually, and I think I'm supposed to mention this too. We have actually gone to radio with Bite the Bullet.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
In America.
Cool. All right.
So we have our first ad at, I don't know what the name of the station is. Our tracker was telling me yesterday it's at a billboard indicator station. I don't know what that means. But regardless, we have our first American ad in our history as of yesterday.
Is it really ever? That's amazing.
Ever. We've never, like a legit ad, like a radio station that said, we're going to put this in rotation and play. We've never had it in America.
Wow,
we've
that's
never had
shocking
anything.
to me. That is amazing.
Yeah, well, we always thought, there's a lot of people there, and not everyone's going to like it, but some of them would.
Yeah. It was what? I just saw, real quick, the band Big Wreck also?
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So another band that I love, and hadn't seen them in forever, and they played a show in New York. I think it's the first time they've been in New York in 20 years. It was a few months ago.
Wow.
And I went, and it's a nice-sized club, maybe, I don't know, maybe a 500 people to 1,000 people club or something. Slammed. And they walked out, and you could tell, wow, we had no idea anyone in America still even gave a shit. Like, they were blown away. So that was pretty cool. So maybe, maybe something happens.
You never know, man. You never say never.
Right.
We say mostly never.
All right, brother. Thank you, man.
All right, dude. Great talking to you, man. Thanks so much for the interview.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
Okay, have a great day.
You too. Thanks to Pete for the interview. We're going to close with a track off the new United album. This is Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. For more upcoming news and interviews, please check theprogreport.com. Follow us on Facebook, at The Prog Report on Twitter, or download the podcast on iTunes. Thanks.